성도 여러분 안녕하십니까? 237 치유 서밋의 여정을 전하는 임마누엘 뉴스 시작합니다. 2021년 현재 세계 인구는 79억 명입니다. 전 세계적으로 7,000개 이상의 언어가 있지만 세계 인구의 80%는 20개 언어를 사용하고 있습니다. 이 중 영어는 13억 5천 명이 사용하는 언어로 237개 나라 중 73개 나라가 영어를 사용합니다. 임마누엘 영어예배부는 50개국 영어권 제자와 연결되어 있습니다. 이 제자들은 미국과 캐나다뿐 아니라 유럽, 아프리카, 오세아니아, 인도, 동남아의 영어권 국가에서 한국을 찾은 다민족들로 군복무나 영어교사, 유학을 위해 짧게는 1년에서 길게는 4년까지 한국에 머문 사람들입니다. 이 기간 동안 훈련받은 제자들은 본국으로 돌아간 뒤 영어예배부를 통해 한국의 메시지를 전달받고 말씀 흐름을 따라가고 있습니다. 영어예배부의 기도 제목은 교회 내 예배 시스템을 넘어 교구 현장과 다민족 사역이 연결되는 것입니다. 이를 통해 현장의 성도와 중직자들이 세계복음화의 문을 쉽게 발견하고 50개 나라 영어권 제자를 품는 그릇이 준비되도록 기도하고 있습니다.
The reason I think the EM is really important is that we had about people from 50 different nations, from 6 different continents, from all over the world that came and worshiped with us. So it is the best way to do world evangelization without going to the nations.
So for my field ministry, for 15 years I've gone to many different places. For the majority of it I was in Seoul, going to universities, meeting with teachers and students, Filipinos, different people from different nations all over actually, Africans. But then for the past maybe 4 or 5 years, I've been focused on Pyeongtaek. And the reason why is because it's a field that was basically empty. We have all these pastors doing ministry in Seoul, and you have the Yongsan Army Base and all the military that moved to Camp Humphreys in Pyeongtaek. And so basically a large population of English speakers and foreigners moved to Pyeongtaek. And if you know the setting of Yongsan, you know that Itaewon is there because of Yongsan Base. So it's a very big English-speaking field in Itaewon of Africans, of Russians, of Indians, of all these people from all these different nations because of that base. And because of the English field there, it's easy to work and do things. Now that whole community moved all the way to Pyeongtaek, and no one was going there.
I know we have a lot of members in our church, and I know if they have their own field, and I'm pretty sure they're connected to a lot of English-speaking people in wherever their workplace is. So if they need the gospel, and if you're praying for your field and praying to share the gospel with them, we have pastors here in our English ministry that are willing to meet with them and share the gospel with them and help you. Just don't think it was difficult. There's other ways to do world evangelization. I believe that is one of the main way to do world evangelism is by praying for them and connecting to the right people.
There was a time when I was doing ministry in our English ministry, and there was someone brought that was a friend of one of our members, and she came and she was attending, and she ended up receiving the gospel. She was originally a non-believer, but she attended for weeks, and then one day she decided to believe. But after she accepted, we started doing darakbang in her field, which was in Suwon. And so in Suwon, it wasn't just her. At her school, we had another member of our church, another deacon, that was teaching there as well, a Korean member of our church. And so we joined together and started doing darakbang together, the 3 of us. And this deacon, he spoke a little English too. He was involved in Korean missions as well. But we met for over a year doing darakbang in that field. And the thing is, after a year, that person, that foreign teacher that I was doing ministry with, she had to go back to America. So she left. So we were praying and praying and praying. And that Korean lay leader ended up connecting us to the next English teacher that came. And so he introduced me to her, and we began darakbang again. with her, raising her up in the gospel, helping her understand. And we did that ministry for a year, and she left. But then that deacon connected me to the next teacher that came. And so we did Darapang, and she was raised up, and she ended up coming to our church. She got very involved in our ministry. She went to India with us, all these different things. And she ended up staying here for a year, I think 2 years. Then she went back to America, and she came back again because she liked it so much. And the reason I share this story is because really the people doing the evangelism in the field, it's the Korean church lay leaders. They're so important. Like me, I can't meet everyone all the time, and I don't know, I'm not connected to them. But especially for our Korean lay leaders, if they work at schools, if they work at hospitals, if they work in the field, anywhere, and there's foreigners, if they can develop a relationship, and then through that relationship end up sharing the gospel, they can invite them, and we can meet with them, and help root these foreigners in the gospel. And then later on, if they're sent out, that's okay. At least they were raised in the gospel and they could be the system wherever they are. And so that's really the importance, I think, of connecting our foreign ministries to our regional district pastors and their systems. Because it's really through the lay people that world evangelization is really going to take place, I believe.
Per topic is 237-5000. If you know Mark's upper room, they couldn't speak the language. So they asked for the filling of the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit gave them the language for a short time. But the real church that did the 237-5000, it was Antioch Church. And they raised the foreign church officers and foreign pastors and ministers, and they really set them out. Have a system to continue to just raise remnants in every country and church leaders in every country to know this flow that, really is most important. The flow of life and flow of recreation. That's it.
말씀 속에 걸어온 임마누엘 여정이 올해로 23주년을 맞았습니다. 성경 속 렘넌트들이 누렸던 기도의 비밀 속으로 들어가는 한 주간 되시기를 바랍니다. 뉴스를 마칩니다. 고맙습니다.